各位观众，大家好，欢迎
Greetings,
大家
everyone.
来到
Welcome to the Ironclad Irrefutable Evidence series. Please don't forget to like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this program. This is a critical issue related to the well-being and security of each individual, every community, and the entire society. Thank you very much for your attention and support. Today, we continue our discussion about the existence of a living organ pool in China. An emergency liver transplant is performed when a patient has a life-threatening condition with acute liver failure, and a transplant is the only available life-saving treatment. Here are some examples of emergency liver transplants in China. High percentage of emergency liver transplants, a total of 26.6%. A report titled 2006 Annual Report on China Liver Transplant Registration looked at the percentage of emergency transplants in China. It was based on data from 29 transplant centers enrolled in the China Liver Transplant Registry, CLTR. The data was collected between April 6, 2005 and December 31, 2006. The CLTR is the official National Liver Transplant Registry in China, launched in February 2005. According to the report, there were 8,486 liver transplants in the country during that period. Of those, 4,331 received a designation of either emergency or non-emergency. Of those that received any designation at all, 1,150, or 26.6%, were emergencies. How could there be so many emergency transplants in China? Wouldn't there have to be a way to find donors extremely quickly? Short wait time for an emergency liver transplant, 4 hours. Shanghai Changzheng Hospital performed 120 emergency liver transplants within 3 years. An organ transplant was performed 4 hours after hospital admission. In June 2006, Fu Zhiren and Ma Jun from the Organ Transplant Department of Shanghai Changzheng Hospital co-authored a research paper published in Clinical Surgery magazine titled Prognostic Factors and Management of Emergency Liver Transplantation for Severe Hepatitis. The paper said, in the past 3 years, our department treated 120 patients with severe liver hepatitis on an emergency basis. The success rate was very high, 76.2%. Due to many factors, these patients didn't consent to getting a transplant until the disease was very advanced and their condition had become too late for a normal transplant. On average, their life expectancy was only 3 days at the time of their transfer to our hospital. An emergency transplant was the only option to treat these patients. The shortest wait time for an emergency liver transplant was 4 hours after admission. Short wait time for a second kidney, 48 hours. Huaxia Times reported that a 49-year-old female patient, Xue Yanling, suffering from uremia, was admitted to the transplant center of Beijing Haidian Hospital on December 19, 2004. Only 9 days later, she was told that the hospital had found a kidney for her and they would do the transplant that night. After returning to Beijing from Chifeng, Inner Mongolia, the chief surgeon, Dr. Han, rushed into the operating room and her surgery began at 11 p.m. 4 hours later, Dr. Han came out of the operating room saying, the surgery didn't go well due to hyperacute rejection. Although the transplanted kidney didn't function well, it wasn't taken out during the first transplant surgery because Dr. Han had to go to Kunming the following day to do another transplant. He said he found a kidney source there and would bring back kidney. Less than 48 hours later, on December 30th, 2004, the hospital notified the patient that they would operate at night. At 11 p.m., Dr. Han disembarked from an airplane with a kidney. He went directly to the hospital to perform the second transplant. Before the operation was over, Dr. Han announced the transplant failed again. A month later, Xue Yanling passed away in tears. Short organ search time, 4 hours. Henan Provincial People's Hospital found a suitable liver for a patient in 4 hours after deciding to do an emergency transplant. On April 10, 2018, the Health Supervision Bureau of Henan Provincial Department of Health published a report about a taxi driver named Mr. Ma. Mr. Ma lived with bile duct stones and hepatitis B for over 20 years. In 2017, he was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis. Medication kept his condition under control until about February 2018, when his skin turned yellow and he started to experience abdominal cramps. When his hospital discovered he had cholangitis, they transferred him to Hunan Provincial People's Hospital. The cholangitis was treated effectively, but his jaundice sharply worsened and symptoms of ascites and acute liver failure emerged. He would die momentarily if the prescribed medications didn't work. After an assessment, the director of the hospital's transplant center recommended a liver transplant, stating it would be the best option for such a life-threatening situation. On February 23, 2018, the transplant team of the hospital's Hepatobiliary Institute put together an emergency liver transplant plan for Mr. Ma. 4 hours later, a suitable liver was found, and the surgeons conducted the transplant. These examples are just a tiny fraction of the many emergency transplants in China. We also have recordings of investigative phone calls that expose these emergency transplants from another angle. Please listen to them now. Subject of investigation: a doctor from the organ transplantation unit at Zhongnan Hospital of Wuhan University. Date of investigation: October 30th, 2017.
哎，大夫你好。你好。哎，你好，你好，是这样的。
Hello, doctor?
我想问一下。
Hello?
Hello, I'd like to know, what's the longest wait time for a liver transplant patient?
Well, each case is different. Some waited very little. Some had acute and severe liver failure and needed a surgery immediately. Generally, people with liver diseases are unable to survive after several months wait, so it would be done very quickly if they stay here to wait.
Well, do you have the capability to do liver transplants for patients with acute diseases? Some hospitals have no way to do that.
We do.
You have the capability, correct?
Yes. We frequently do emergency cases.
You frequently do emergency cases?
Yes, correct.
Subject of investigation: a liver transplant doctor at the General Hospital of Guangzhou Military Command of the People's Liberation Army. Date of investigation: November 7th, 2017.
哎，大夫你好，给你们广州军区总医院问个事情。
Hello?
就你们这边有没有？
Hello, doctor. I'd like to ask some questions about the General Hospital of Guangzhou Military Command. Is your hospital capable of doing an emergency liver transplant for a patient?
Yes.
The patient has hepatitis B cirrhosis and hepatic coma. He is now in Guangxi. If he comes to do an emergency liver transplant, can your hospital do it?
Yes, but if you want it soon, you or at least your family members have to come with money and as blood donors. Actually, how soon we can do it depends on how quickly you can prepare it, not on us. Understand? We can be quick once you're quick.
If it gets delayed any longer, it is going to be trouble for sure.
That's not our issue. We do this as quickly as we can and surely arrange it as fast as we can. We can only guarantee to do it as fast as possible, and you have to do the same. So many people are waiting, and so many people are doing this.
Subject of investigation: a doctor from the Department of General Organ Transplantation at the 2nd Shanghai Hospital. Date of investigation: November 7th, 2017.
哎，你好，大夫你好，请问你是护士还是值班大夫呢？
Hi, how are you? Is this the nurse or the doctor on duty?
Right now, this is the doctor, the one on duty.
Oh, here is the situation. I'm calling from another city. I have heard that your 2nd Xiangya Hospital offers emergency transplant services. Is that correct?
Go ahead.
Oh, have you done any emergency liver transplants this year? For example, any surgery within 1 or 2 weeks for a patient who can't wait too long? Have you ever done it this year?
I can tell you we have many, many of these kinds of patients.
You mean many patients have had emergency liver transplants, or that there are many on the waiting list?
We had many emergency liver transplant patients, quite a lot.
Oh, there must be some who are unable to wait that long and eventually pass away, right?
Sure, some patients do pass away, and we have both situations. Some may get a liver right after coming. Our hospital probably has the most cases in Hunan province. This is a matter of organ availability and compatibility.
Coming to your hospital, a person might have a better chance.
Yes.
Might have a better chance. That's what the director said. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, he said you're still doing emergency transplants every year. Still doing emergencies, right?
Many.
Should we send the patient to Xiangya to wait?
But it's possible we won't have a bed. We might not have a bed. This is the situation currently.
Oh, you're also short on beds.
It's best to call during daytime hours. Call our department and have a consultation with our director, okay?
Ask for Director Shi?
Yes. Call back and ask for Director Shi.
Nearly every year?
Yes.
You do some emergency liver transplants?
Yes, we do many emergency liver transplants.
Oh, the director told us to call you since you might have some ways to do emergency transplants.
Yes.
What's the longest wait time for a liver transplant patient in your hospital? What's the average wait time? A month or?
Yes, we also have some patients who passed away before finding an organ.
Oh, on the waiting list?
That is, there are some who passed away before finding an organ. Some others may have a surgery right after they arrive. It is a matter of luck. But if you're looking at emergency liver transplants, most of our cases could be counted as emergency liver transplants. Basically, a patient will soon. It is because our donors are sometimes lined up waiting outside. It may turn out by chance someone can use an organ after the tissue typing is done, and then we will call the patient to have the surgery. It is something like this. Some patients stay outside or somewhere nearby to wait for an organ. They can take a high-speed train to come right away. All these are possible.
Subject of investigation, Dr. Young, from Doctor's Office of the Organ Transplantation Department at Sichuan Provincial People's Hospital. Date of investigation, December 15th, 2017.
嗨
Hi, is this the hospital?
Yes, correct.
I'm from Yingchuan, Ningxia. My family member needs a liver transplant. I'd like to ask for some information.
How old is this patient?
Just over 40.
Liver cancer or cirrhosis?
Advanced liver cirrhosis.
Liver cirrhosis?
Yeah, end stage of cirrhosis.
What type of blood?
Type B.
Type B, right?
I just talked with that nurse about taking the patient back to wait if the wait won't be long.
It's hard to say. His type is B, and I don't know how long it takes to have a type B liver. We normally at least do probably 50 cases already this year. Personally, I recommend to come back to wait. Why? Because usually all the emergency liver transplants, it's like if we decide a patient needs to do a liver transplant tonight, we can do it tonight. We'll notify the recipient, the potential liver transplant recipient, to come to do a series of checkups.
We can do the surgery sooner if someone can arrange it better, right?
Yes. If you have a chance to talk to our director, I don't think it's a big problem.
Normal organ donations are random and unpredictable. The organ shortage is a universal issue, and the blood type matching and tissue typing for organ transplants have a very low success rate. That's why patients in places like the United States wait for years before finding a matching donor. Then the only way China could have so many emergency transplants is if the organs are harvested from living donors, killed on an as-needed basis. Furthermore, this pool of people would have to be huge. Please continue to watch Episode 15, offering multiple organs to one patient. In particular, please note that this is a worldwide unrestricted war without gunpowder. The CCP's crime of live organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners not only continues, but has spread throughout society. For example, in 2013, a 6-year-old child, little Binbin, in Shanxi, went missing. 2 days later, he was found with his eyes gouged out for his cornea. Dozens of university students in Wuhan disappeared for no reason in recent years, and countless children and women go missing every year. Live organ harvesting has become a threat to everyone. Perhaps, as we are talking, many kind and innocent people are being put onto operation tables for their organs. And also, many have been detained in dark prisons for many years, and their hearts, livers, and kidneys are waiting to be excised in an indescribably cruel way at any moment. How urgently they need rescue from the outside world. How excruciating it is for their parents, brothers, and sisters to bear the pain of missing their loved ones for years. Live organ harvesting signifies an unprecedented atrocity that has never existed on this planet. We cannot heartlessly ignore the fact that the Chinese Communist Party is ravaging and killing people. We cannot watch the CCP flagrantly destroy the bottom line of morality with lies, coercion, and financial lures that aim to silence and lead the entire human race to fundamental destruction without taking action. We urge everyone to like, subscribe, and spread the word about our program. Let your family, relatives, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and anybody else in your social circle know the facts of the CCP's mass organ harvesting from living Falun Gong practitioners. Please tell the whole world the truth and stand together to put a stop to the CCP's crimes against humanity. This is a critical issue related to the well-being and security of each individual, every community, and our entire society. Thank you very much for your attention and support.
感谢各位朋友，感谢大家的关注支持。
World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong, WOIPFG, was founded on January 20th, 2003. It is based in New York with branches in Europe, Australia, Asia, and Canada. WOIPFG's mission is to investigate the criminal conduct of all institutions, organizations, and individuals involved in the persecution of Falun Gong. To bring such investigations, no matter how long it takes, no matter how far and deep we have to search, to full closure, to exercise fundamental principles of humanity, and to restore and uphold justice in society. The principle of our investigation holds that those who have committed crimes shall be brought to justice. Individuals shall bear the same responsibility for their involvement in their organization's crimes, and those instigating the persecution shall bear the same responsibility of those who have physically carried out the persecution. We intend to uproot state-sanctioned crimes and safeguard human morality. The criminal conduct of all individuals within organizations, units, and departments involved in the persecution will be thoroughly investigated and brought to justice.